Story basically, the League Cup. Celtic go out at home to Ross County. The fans couldn't take it off the back of back-to-back defeats in the Europa League, Danny.
Yeah, 4-1,
to Sparta Prague, 4-1, 4-1. And now all they've got to do now is try and get their heads on how do we stop Rangers from not winning the league, and how do we go on to win 10 in a row, because that's what Celtic fans want. Last night, outside Celtic Park in the east end of Glasgow, an area I know well, it got seriously out of hand. There were some dreadful scenes, a couple of police officers injured, and Celtic had to put out a statement saying to the fans, for goodness sake, a minority of you, calm down. There is no excuse for this. The Celtic players in a kind of convoy were kept away from the baying mob who were breaking down fences to try and get to them. And the upshot is they want answers, and they want Lennon out. The scenes were incredible, Danny. Surprised many in the game. People were appalled by them. Simon, you're taking this in a second. But lifelong Celtic fan, here he is, Sir Rod Stewart. Sir Rod, good morning to you.
Oh, morning there, Jimmy boy.
Good morning to you. You'll have seen the scenes, no doubt, Rod. You'll be well aware of them. What's your take on that?
Well, I'm heartbroken and disgusted. In all my years of supporting the Celts, I've never seen anything like that. Missiles being thrown at the players. It's shameful. It makes the club look so irresponsible. And it's a proud old club. You know that, don't you, Jim?
Yes, of course.
I'm absolutely heartbroken, not only with the result yesterday, but just all round. But I also don't think, unless there's someone lined up to take Lenny's place, I don't think anybody would take it with a barge pole. I really wouldn't. It's to take over Celtic halfway through the season, 11 points behind Rangers. It's got to be a tough man to do it. So I would let Lenny finish the season. I think we owe it to him. I think he still can turn it around. There are, more players that have got to come in. Shocked. I'm shocked.
Rod, I'm glad you said that. I mean, I'm a bit biased because I started my career playing alongside Lenny, and he was a big influence on me at Creel many years ago, so I'm a big fan of him. But I think it's worth looking at the fact that when he came into the job, taking over Brendan, that was a difficult thing to do in terms of the way they were playing, in the style, keeping that going, getting the players on board. So there was a lot of scepticism because it was his second time in a job. Some fans didn't want him back. And I think that's been forgotten a little bit in recent weeks.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I don't think there's anybody that's going to take his place. I don't think that the guy from Bournemouth, Howe, would touch it. I really don't. I think there are players that we should bring in. I think we should bring in Frimpong, because they were complaining about not having width yesterday. Let Frimpong play on the wing and take Forrest's place.
But Rod, you
never have sold Johnny Hayes.
But Rod, are you seriously telling us this morning you don't think there are people out there who want the job if Lennon goes?
I think if anybody wanted the job, they'd be desperate for work. And I don't think we should have a foreign player up there, a foreign manager. I think we've either got to have a Scot or we've got to have a British, someone that understands what this 10 in a row means to Celtic and Celtic supporters. And I'm afraid there's a few players in there that don't really want to be there, and they don't understand what this 10 in a row means, and they're not giving 100%.
Did you ever think you would hear the Celtic as a club, say last night that for our players to require an escort from Celtic Park whilst being targeted with missiles is simply unacceptable?
It is unacceptable. I think it's a small minority of the Green Brigade, and they've just got to behave themselves. They brought terrible shame on the club, and they do quite a lot. When we go away, and do you know how many we've been fined over £500,000 for the Green Brigade activities with fireworks. We could have bought another player for that. It really is.
Yeah, you can hear Rod this morning, Simon. He's ashamed of his fellow Celtic supporter. Basically, that's what he's saying.
Yeah, not all of them, Jim.
No,
it's a small minority. The Green Brigade have brought a lot of colour and atmosphere to Celtic Park, but there is a small brigade in there, that small crowd that want trouble.
Yes.
That's what happened last night.
Rod, stay with us. Simon, I've looked at some of the sequences of the videos this morning. Some of these morons wearing masks, which amuses me in itself, as they're rattling against the fence, trying to pull the fence down, to break a police cordon, to get at their own players. What on earth are we witnessing here?
Well, I think we're witnessing a lot of things, Jim. I think we're looking at society at this moment in time that's very frustrated and angry with life ad infinitum. I think there's a frustration about the way we're having to live with COVID-19 and those challenges. I'm not giving any excuses to these morons, but we must also remember, as Rod says, this is a vociferous minority. We have a propensity in this country to listen to a minority and think they represent the majority. They don't. That doesn't mean that you don't concentrate the minds of those that are there and their behaviour. I'm for the players, not in this way. I'm for the players getting the gravity. It shouldn't just be Neil Lennon. It shouldn't just be Peter Larwell that cop all the abuse. It's the players that go across the line and produce a performance that gets you beat by Ross County. It's the players that go across the line that produce performances that get beat twice in a row by Sparta Prague. I don't think their minds should be concentrating with this kind of things. But by the same token, sometimes out of these circumstances comes something as awful as this may be in terms of headline news, and it's headline news that we're talking about, it'll concentrate people's minds. Now, the challenge for Neil Lennon is, how does this affect him? Does he overcome this? Does he look at it and go, it's background noise? Because the team at this moment in time, with all due respect to Rod, to Celtic fans, are stinking the place out. And all of this goes away. If you don't get beat by Ross County, you don't have any of this nonsense. So you've got to look at what's happening on the pitch and say, whatever they didn't get, whoever they didn't buy, whether they play Frimpong or Uncle Tom Cobley, they should be beating Ross County.
Yeah.
So Rod, is it clear?
Simon, do you know this is the same team that beat Lazio on 2 occasions this time last year, apart from the goalkeeper?
Yeah, so we're talking, Rod, what we're talking about is a mindset and a confidence thing rather than a quality thing. And I think that's the key, isn't it? It's changing that mindset and that feeling sorry for yourselves as a collective, because I've seen that before in the same team. Look, I mean, if you look at Sheffield United, it's a good example. Very good example of something similar. But Neil's very resilient. He's been through a lot in his life. I think he's dealt with bigger things than this. And if anybody can take it on the chin, it's him.
Turn it, It's whether you can take it on the chin is one thing, it's whether you can turn it or not. I think Rod's slightly wrong on the respect that someone won't take this job. You can guarantee dollars for donuts, someone will take this job because that's football, and they'll see it as a challenge. Like everyone took George Best upon once upon a time, everyone took Paul Gascoigne on.
And this is Celtic, Rod.
It's Celtic.
Rod.
Simon, they've got to understand what they're getting themselves into up there.
Granted.
It's a goal festival. You know that, don't you, Jim?
Yeah.
It's a hard job. I personally think we should let Neil see out the season, let him win the Scottish Cup, hopefully, and see if he still can.
But can he, Rod? But can he? There's no evidence at this moment in time, and I hate chasing managers out of jobs. I loathe it because you're talking about someone's profession. Yeah. But can he turn it, Rod? Has he got the ability now with it the way that it is? Because the players ain't getting it, are they?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. He won't win anything by bringing on Duffy when you need to score a goal. I didn't understand that last night. They've got to score a goal and they bring on a defender who's so far been very dodgy.
So, but on one hand, Rod, you're saying that you keep him in there because he's got the chops. On the other hand, you're picking the team for him, saying he's not doing his job in the first place. So you're in that camp as well, that Lennon maybe isn't the answer.
Yeah, I do. I don't know, mate. I mean, I don't know Lenny that well, but I've always found him to be a great guy, and it would be a terrible shame for him not to finish out the 10 in a row and then retire at the end of the season. But I'm an old softie. Maybe I shouldn't even be commentating on it.
No, you're more than welcome to. You know that. So, Rod, thank you very much indeed.
Okay, mate. Well done, the Cheers.
Oh, well, we shall see. It's a long way to go, Rod.
Yeah,
a long way to go.
You know what? If Celtic win their 2 games in hand, they're only 5 points off.
Oh, that's right. So, Rod, thank you very much.
We've seen this before, but I can speak a lot about Lenny. I've known him a long time. He's a very resilient lad. He has.
So Rod's saying leave him in the job until then. Are you saying the same?
Look, it's difficult because I'm not involved in the club at all in terms of seeing how the players are responding to him on the training pitch, which is very important. You know, the attitude and application for starters.
Yeah.
And furthermore, Rod's talking about, I think what he's trying to say is that there's nobody out there at the moment who he'd want in the job, rather than people.
Sure.
There are a lot of managers who would love that job.
I think so too. But the question is this: it's not whether he's resilient; it's whether he can turn this around. Now, I certainly, if I'm Peter Lyle, wouldn't be taking him out of this job because of a bunch of gimps standing outside the stadium carrying on. I'd be taking him out of this job because he can't turn it around.
Well, that's what
the
I'm
bigger
saying.
question.
Yeah, no,
Would it harden your resolve? I heard last night from a senior source, Simon, that Dermot Desmond, the owner of the club, was saying it will harden his resolve. He's not going to bow to these jobs.
It would harden
Are you saying the same?
It would harden my resolve if I looked into Neil Lennon's eyes and he said, "I've got this. Don't worry about this. I've got this."
Well, I think for me, he has shown enough football-wise, coaching-wise, in the past to suggest to me he can turn it round. I'm saying he's resilient in terms of whoever you are. It takes something. It takes some character to be able to disregard the comments, the abuse, the morons, as you so rightly
It takes
said.
leadership. And you know what? You can't. Real leaders can overcome adversity. Football guys talk about leadership. This is it. We can all get on when everything's going the way you want it to. Come with the hour, come with the man. If he is as strong as you think he is and has the resilience he is, then he'll overcome this because it's adversity, and that's what part of his job is, to overcome it.
The other thing is, Jim, as well, is it's not open. The Rangers are absolutely flying.
Oh, they're flying, and they don't concede. We were going to put out a section of audio this morning from that protest last night. It's very difficult, Simon, to bleep it out and edit it, because it is absolutely disgusting as they lined up against the police last night. I just wonder if anyone's brave enough. Were you in amongst that last night? Do you want to tell us what on earth you were doing? And Celtic fans, the good Celtic fans, of whom there are many, many thousands, what do you want to see happen at the club? Is it time up for Neil? Is it time for change? Or do you still have faith in Neil Lennon? 08717 223344 810 89.
White and Jordan.